Hey everybody, it's Jay here from Replay Republic, and today I want to play a classic game for you. It's called Populous. It says by Bullfrog, but when you see by Bullfrog, think Peter Molyneux. This is a stage at which Peter is just credited as programmer rather than, world's most amazing game designer. Some claims may be exaggerated, but anyway, Peter Molyneux's done some cool things, but this is one of the earliest, and I think this dates from 1989. Was released on a whole bunch of platforms: Super Nintendo, Game Boy, PC, Atari ST, Amiga. We're gonna play the PC version in DOSBox, and we're gonna get started right off here. One of the things to remember is that gameplay was different back in 1989, so there are going to be some things that seem a little bit clunky, but I think overall there's a lot of good gameplay to be had, and let's get into it. Okay. So my first question for programmer Peter Molyneux is, why does the theme song play slower when the scroller is scrolling? Maybe I should ask Rob Hubbard. Anyway, let's do Conquest. And I think we'll start out with the first map because it's simple and something where I can demonstrate the rules of the game. And then I'll jump ahead to a later map. We'll try to get this done fairly quickly so you guys get a good sense of it rapidly. So deity, please type in thy name. What's a good name for somebody who aspires to rule the world? Let's say Kanye. All right, deity verification check. What world uses this shield? Doc check, alert, warning. What world uses this shield? Let's say it is Endor. Is a trademark of Disney Corporation. World to conquer, Genesis. Battle number is 0. Landscape is grassy plains. His reactions are very slow. So there's an enemy god you're fighting, obviously. His rating is very poor. Land built on people. The swamps are bottomless. Water is fatal. We each start with 3. I have all of the evil powers, all of the destructive powers. He has none of them. We'll get into this and show you how they work. Start game. So pausing the game immediately to look at our 3 walkers, I guess I would call them in this state. You see one has the Ankh, that is the symbol of my religion, and the skull, where is it, is the symbol of the enemy religion. And if you look right in the middle of the map, you can see that there's a giant Ankh and a giant skull, and one of your followers has to touch one of these, or touch the appropriate one of these, to become your leader. If your leader, the existing leader, should die. So as we get started here, my initial powers, you can see my mana meter over here, all of my powers, I'll talk through them as we go, but this first one is raise and lower land. So I have the ability to do that, and I should do it promptly to make a place for these people to live. So we'll just lower that, maybe raise a little bit of that, lower some of that, raise some of that, and you all should have a place to live. That's great. One of the things that we should keep in mind is that the landscape can change a lot and rapidly in this game. So I'm already building in a way that it's not going to be the way that I build for the whole map, and I'll get into that. But for now, we just want our population to rise fairly rapidly, which means making lots of settlers. And so we've got these 3 stone keeps here. What I'm going to do, just to encourage our settlers, is, well, first of all, I'm going to make a place for them to live shortly. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to raise this land right here, and maybe there as well. And eventually, this is going to knock down the level of these dwellings. You can see that they become simpler and simpler houses the less farmland that they have. Farmland being the terrain with the light-colored dots on them. And the lower the level of the house, the faster it spits out somebody to settle a new area. That somebody will be weaker But at this stage of the game, there's no enemies to fight. And we're in grassland, so they're not likely to die in transit to wherever they're going. So, you know, it's kind of a trick to speed things along, is to make sure that your settlement levels are fairly low at first. So I'll just make that a smaller house. Come on. Yeah, there we go. So now I'll let this grow again. And you can see this house, I've lifted up another level. So that's altitude 1, or sorry, elevation 1, elevation 2. So I'm going to try to do most of my house building at elevation 2 now, even at the cost of sort of making some of these people homeless briefly. Yeah, there you go. It's okay, it'll be better, trust me. So one of the powers here, you can see we've got now the ability to place a papal magnet, and above that there's earthquake, which really kind of randomizes the terrain at a level of between 1 and 2 above sea level, usually about 1. Sometimes it'll even create areas of water, and so that can really mess up a settled area. That's the kind of thing you want to do in an enemy settlement, to mess it up for them. Above that, you can see the swamp icon. So let's, instead of talking through them all, let's try them out in the enemy terrain when we have them available. There's my leader building more followers. There's some culty type thoughts that I have as we go here. You know, there's people like spread religion and they don't try to convert people. They just sort of eradicate believers of competing religions, and they combine their bodies to increase their power. But anyway, it's fine. It's a game. I'm just gonna lower this land by 1, since the maximum slope of the land is there's only one slope, basically. Maybe you want to call it 45 degrees or whatever, but if you raise land such that the slope would be too steep, that it builds surrounding elevation up as well, just to make sure that the land doesn't get too steep. And so you can sort of over raise or over lower things to work in a wider area, even though there isn't sort of a tool that allows you to raise or lower a larger area on its own. You can just sort of add a little bit of extra height, more than you want, and then backtrack to the desired height. So I'll spend a lot of time going up, up, down, or down, down, up, and that just makes it so that I have to work with fewer discrete points. It's easier to operate, excuse me, that was too much, on the same point of land 3 times than it is to go 1, 2, 3 times across different points of land. All right, so we've got a lot of castles here. Again, just to speed up the colonization of the area, I'm gonna reduce their level temporarily, let people spread out, gather if they need to, find an area to settle in. Dude, I mean, there was like terrain right there. Okay. Right, so now I have a lot of mana. So I can go over here, and you can see the enemy leader right there, and that would be a great place to put a swamp. And now the enemy leader falls into the swamp and dies, and the totem, the papal magnet for that religion, is left on the spot where he dies, which happens to be in a swamp, a bottomless swamp, that the computer will have to raise and lower the land to make disappear. So that's cool. I mean, for my followers anyway. And I'll do this again around the castle. And again, because this eliminates some farmland, the castle goes down a level and it ejects a walker, and then the walker falls into the swamp promptly. It's a great cascade of effects. And every time you hear that bong, the bell tolls for somebody who's just fatally walked into a swamp. So that's, again, kind of cool. What else can I do? I can do this level where this area where they've built a lot of settlements up in the mountains. I can do an earthquake here. And as I said, that will randomize the terrain a lot lower. And actually, that really seems to have helped them. So let me do it one more time. That's a little better, closer to the effect that I was hoping for. And if you do it enough, you might even knock somebody into the water. Yeah, as I've done. Oh, there we go. So ultimately, I just kept doing an earthquake there, and it was pretty hard on my mana, but I knocked a big hole in the water. It's pretty rare that you get all water out of that, but I drowned some people there, and so as an old school deity, I feel fairly good about that. You know, this is not about New Testament deityhood. This is old school. Still hear those swamp announcements, boom, which is quite gratifying. So a bottomless swamp is a really good use of your mana because, you know, when the computer takes a while to react to it, you can hear how many settlers are not building houses right now because of that thing that I did like 2-3 minutes ago. But that said, we're in world 0. The computer is as bad as ever going to be here. My advantages are enormous. So really, it's only expected that things would be going this well in this map. Right, so my population is considerably higher at this point, and you know, as discussed, we're going to try to get through this map very quickly because it's the first one, because there aren't a lot of challenges. So what have I talked about so far? I've talked about swamps and earthquakes, and I have not talked about follower controls or some of the cooler evil things that I can do to terrain. So here's our leader here. I'm going to say everybody gather at my leader, and I'll put a shield, the shield with the query tool, put that on there. This is fairly close to producing a settler. Man, that's going well. Just listen to that. It's crazy. Just add another one right there. Perfect. We'll go back to our, there's our leader. He's not super strong, but I'm going to put the Papal Magnet in the castle here so that he has a place to hang out. And again, this will fill up the castle as more followers come over here. This leader has high technology level. Well, it's really the castle that has it. But that sword means that's like the best weapon for any walker in the game. And it shows that that person is going to be a formidable fighter. And now that green bar fills up all the way, and that's when the castle would normally produce a settler. But I've told people to go to the Papal Magnet, which is the leader, unless the leader is dead, and then they go to the magnet itself, and a new leader is proclaimed, produced, based on who touches it first. So let's get our walkers busy. We've got some terrain over here that doesn't have any settlements on it at all. But anyway, we'll get to that. So bring our walkers over through all these castles here. And this thing's just about full. There we go. It's full, and so you can see that that leader now has an orange bar and another orange bar, and that's saying his strength. So for now, it's not all that high, and we're not producing a lot of walkers. So I will let you build another castle. It's not quite a castle, is it? So your technology level just fell because of that. So I will send you back to... Okay, you're building some settlements, that's fine. But I'll send you back to the castle now, and hopefully you'll get combined with the castle. And then, yeah, and then your technology level will go back up when the castle is full. The idea is we want to make a very strong leader by sending people to that castle and combining them with the leader to improve its strength. So this person's strength is not all that high right now. But by sending, oh, as you can see, the enemy papal magnet is here as well. All right, well, forget it. So this guy's a little bit strong, and that's good enough for me for now. So I'm going to, as soon as he's back in the castle, I'm going to click the knight button. And now our leader perishes. Oh, poor leader, but he turns into a knight. And then this knight goes running off through the landscape. So say, switch our mode there to not gather around the leader. And our knight is going to go, oh, hey, I don't want you here. Go away. Go away. Haha. So he was within sight of my castles, which, or even a settler in this level would do. So I just dropped the leader into the water. And now I'm going to say I want my settlers to fight before they settle, if possible, because it looks like the enemy is colonizing my part of the map. It's not really my part of the map, but you know, the part that I think of as mine. So let's build more over here, and we should check in on our knight and see how he's doing. Where are you trying to go here? Here, I'll make a path for you. Go, where are you trying to go? Looks like here. Okay, so here's what a knight does. Oh, come on. You're gonna beeline for the farthest settlement possible. Then you're gonna attack it, and then you're gonna set it on fire. So you can see that knights are valuable. They're people persons. They like to go meet everybody and introduce themselves and see what ways they can contribute to the local community by setting things on fire. And I'm a fan of that. So also I like to help the knight because I can raise a lower land wherever I can see one of my people, and the knight counts as one of those. So if I worry that he's going to get in over his head with a castle or something, I can just break it, frankly. Okay, so the knight's busy. That's cool. Knight's doing knighty things. And where's our leader? Dear leader. Just fill in some terrain over here to make things stronger. So it's really important now that the red and the blue lands are touching that I make sure that my settlements here at the borderlands are strong or high level, because then they'll be easier to defend. Where's my leader? Show me. Do I not have a leader? I don't. So I'm going to send that guy to the castle to become a leader. And show me. So that's cool. Make another knight out of that guy. Great. Okay. And our new leader has been appointed. Tell me about new leader. So the castle's filling up. And, you know, ideally, oh, look at that. So suddenly this leader has a big yellow bar. That's a very strong leader. Oh, no. Okay, fine. You're strong, and the enemy has a castle there. So go attack that castle. Take it back. His technology level has fallen somewhat down to crossbow. But that's okay. He should still be able to take this castle. There we go. Nice. So now everybody's accumulating at the knight, and you can see his strength bar has gone from, earlier we were looking at a leader that had 2 orange bars. Now he's got a yellow bar. So yellow bar is like hundreds column in his strength, if you can think of it that way. So yellow is hundreds, and then, so if you see yellow bar and an orange bar, well, the orange bar isn't really there, but the yellow bar, there we go, there's the orange bar. So yellow bar is like hundreds of strength, with orange bar being 10 if it's yellow orange, and if it's orange orange, then that's like 10s and 1s. So this guy's super strong. We'll make another knight, and my plan is not to spam knights, but just does sort of seem like that way. So our population is way higher, and as I said, I wanted to make this fairly fast. So one of the first things I'm going to do is just go over here and do a volcano, which you haven't seen yet. So boom, there's a volcano. It makes a giant mountain, lots of rocks, big pain in the butt. Make another one there. Yeah, this is a great way to take the enemy's heartland and turn it into an uninhabitable mess. There's a castle. I think you've seen all of my other evil powers, so I'll just do a earthquake there. Yeah, so, you know, doesn't normally... Oh, did manage to create some water there. As a strategy, that's usually not what you want to do. Just earthquake until you create water. That's just something I can do because I have ridiculous amounts of mana. And now, given our population advantage, I'm going to call Armageddon. So that's the skull and crossbones. Here, all the settlements disappear and everybody turns into a walker. And now they all converge in the center of the map. So we'll see, I don't have any knights left. I think they've turned into walkers. And if I look at my leader, he has maximum technology level. That's good. And he's making a beeline for the center of the map at full strength. And here they will meet and do final battle. So it's the end of the world. Nobody has any houses. All they have to do is go fight. So that's what they're going to do right in the center of the map. I don't even need to. If this was in the middle of the ocean, I wouldn't need to create land here. It's done automatically for the purposes of Armageddon. And now the enemy leader and the good leader meet, and we win fairly quickly because of the difference in population, obviously. There's so many more walkers to accumulate on my side, and that's the end of that level. So now we get the spooky guy saying, "Well done, mortal, you conquered Genesis, now battle at Skokomet." Which we will not do, actually. I'm going to skip ahead. And this game is sort of like a save code rather than a save game system. I have a code for a world that is somewhat farther ahead. So if I type in Verymeend, here we go. So instead of battling at level 4, so we'll go up to 26. Landscape is rock and lava. His reactions are very slow. His rating is good. Why is that? Land built just on towns, so I can't follow the knight around in grief with raising and lowering land. Neither could he. Swamps are shallow. Water is fatal. Population starts out the same. He can do earthquakes. He can do swamps. He cannot do knights. He can do volcanoes. Nobody can do floods. That's too bad. I missed the chance to show that to you earlier, but that's fine. Let's start game and we'll try to play one more level here. So now in the center of the map, we have the papal magnets, and we go over here, and this is some hard living. There's one that's not our leader. Definitely want to make sure that when we set up initially, we don't really mess up the leader's housing. So I'm gonna switch to raise and lower and unpause the game and just try to make life a little better for dear leader here. Without spending too much mana, because I don't have very much right now. You might even see the needle move. It doesn't seem like it's doing much. Okay. So that's a reasonably sized settlement now. And nobody can do floods, so I don't have to worry about that. So we can leave, well, yeah, we can leave the elevation the way it is now. When he starts doing volcanoes, that could be bad. Here we have a walker who's gonna go out and perish. So I'll try to, I can't follow that walker to make some habitable terrain nearby, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna have to work near that house. And you can see that really did a number on my mana. All right. Yeah, don't have enough mana to do anything. Just wait for it to charge up. Do I have enough now? Yeah. It seems like with the mana, once it's over that threshold, call that 0, you can do any raise and lower, but the cost of that will be deducted from your mana and you can kind of go into the negative. I think raising and lowering terrain is the only thing that consumes a indeterminate amount of mana, not set explicitly, but depends on exactly what operation you're doing. So we're strengthening this area. Now I need to look over here because we've got probably a lot of settlers wandering around and dying in the harsh wastes. So let's clean this up as best we can. Quickly though. Okay, that's good. We've helped a little bit here. Really is kind of a rough place to live, isn't it? I'm not worrying about mana expenditure too much now because with a few castles, we're probably going to be doing okay. Oh, but I'm going to have to get used to the idea that unless I can see that blue flag on a building, I can't do any adjustments. Well, it looks like my leader's dead. Sorry, dude. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to have to send you over to the Papal Magnet to nominate a new leader. Great. And now build a house as quickly as possible, please, before you die. Thank you. Great. All right. Okay, now we'll build up that settlement. Hopefully we can move this, move that there, and then make the make that into a castle, ideally. No? One more? There we go. Okay. Ugh. Okay, I'm just trying to make some space. We're getting good number of settlers now, which is good. So our population is going up at a reasonable pace. But gotta be careful because the enemy has powers, and I'm hearing this dong tone, which means maybe there's a swamp somewhere, but I don't see it. Maybe it's something else. Okay, so I have enough for a swamp. So I'll go over here, start messing with this stuff. Here, swamp it up. Good. And you can see he's a lot faster now about filling in. All right, here's a good place for an earthquake. I don't have enough power for an earthquake now. Go in here, you can see from the map that we have lots of settlements, but they're not very strong, so just fill in. Oops, over-raised that. So definitely wherever the leader is staying, want to upgrade that to a castle because that determines the technology level of the leader when he leaves the building, right? He might have gone in there as somebody who came from a castle and had a sword, but then if he goes into some lower level building, then the next time he emerges, he might have, you know, a club or a bow and arrow. So more important to do that for the leader than for others. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I saw you die there and I apologize for it. Rest assured, your afterlife is waiting somewhere. This is the bad place. Okay. Yeah, this is really a hellish landscape, isn't it? Not sure how I got suckered into trying to build an eternal kingdom here, but it's okay. We'll do the best we can. Oh, so already our worlds have met. So what can I do here? I can mess with this area with an earthquake. Yeah, that's good. That worked really well. So for now, my strategy is to try to keep the technology level of my settlements higher and get my population up. It's already working pretty well, but it's really important to keep it up and slow down his population growth while you accelerate mine. Oops. Come on. There we go. Okay. Just clearing up along the edge of the map a little bit. Using that lowering technique to get areas flat more quickly. Wow, our walkers perish really fast. It's a tough world out there. I mean, in some sense, in another sense, I'm creating flat farmland for you to just build a castle on. But okay. Oh, so he just built a volcano there, which, you know, I mean, of all the spots to build a volcano, that's not the worst. One thing we can do here is just build a flat spot up on top of the mountain. So now I have a settlement up here, and if you volcano the top of the highest altitude, like, you can't raise the land anymore from here. It doesn't work. Well, actually, technically it does. So my strategy is going to be create a spot to build a house basically on the top of the world here. Do it. There we go. And then I'm immune to volcanoes. Although it's a little harder to flatten out the land because I can't raise it one notch past where I want it. Okay, so we have some enemies in the middle of our world. I'm going to set my settler strategy here, my walker strategy, to battle then settle. So they'll go looking for evil walkers before they... Yeah, forget you, man. You're not supposed to be up here. Yeah. Okay. Hey, what did I just say? Okay, so now we have walkers. Continuing to build. Yes. No. Yes. Great, so what I really want here is castle at the top of the world. That would be pretty cool. And see, you just did a volcano and it did nothing. Nothing, it did nothing. Go away. Don't want you. Don't want you. There we go. Nice. So we have our sky castle. And that will be a hard thing to defeat. Castles are intrinsically hard to defeat. This thing is up at the top of the world. It's immune to volcanoes. I mean, an earthquake could mess it up. Oh, I see. Now you're just gonna destroy it with raise and lower land. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a problem for me. But maybe I can distract you over here. Maybe I can distract you with earthquake and swamp. Swamp? Where are you guys going? You're all headed in the same direction, looks like. let's go over here and swamp it up. Sure, why not? Put it there too. And one more here. Great. And one more there. Perfect. Please fall into the swamp. Excellent. That is what I want. I want you to fall into the swamp. Work on our settlements a little bit. So, yeah, you can see he's really messed up this area. This is not good. Probably an earthquake there. But it's not a lot of work to fix it up. And in the meantime, what does that do? It creates smaller settlements, and then those settlements produce more settlers, so not really the end of the world. Something that I can adapt to, I think. There, so that's fixed. Doesn't take a long time to fix up after an earthquake. The computer's reaction time really is significantly limited right now, and as you get into the higher levels, say around level 100, can be a lot harder to deal with, both deal with the disasters that he inflicts on you, and to do any meaningful damage, right? Because you can clean up after it so quickly. Still hearing lots of swamp. Great. Ah, there's a castle. So what did you do? Did you put a volcano up there? Because that didn't do much, if so. Okay. More castles. So with my my settlers in battle mode. Oh, somebody did an earthquake somewhere. Doesn't look all that bad though. Wherever, oh, we did it up at the top of the hill. Yeah, that's fairly clever actually. But it didn't tear down the land far enough to make a huge difference, so I'll just build it up. But that is what an earthquake will do. It will make the land subside in this game. And, right, so that messed up my sky castle. Come on. I just like the name of this strategy. Sky Castle. Yes. Build me one of those, please. I don't even know what it is. I want to go to there. Cool. All right. So let's see. What are our little settlements doing down at the bottom of the hill? Some of these rocks are the kind that you don't need to drop into the ocean to get rid of. Some of them need to take a swim, so try to clean up here as best I can. Since there are no floods, you know, cleaning up rocks, there's a better strategy in this map than in most. Right now, it's pretty hard for me to keep up with the pace of population growth, so castles are definitely a good thing. Okay, I can't work there because I don't have a flag in sight. See, how does it look on the map? It looks like we're building kind of a regular area here. If I just fill that in, we're gonna get control over this area. Well, oftentimes it's less about what happens on the borders of your domain and more about drawing power from the parts that are kind of untouchable. And the computer can try to mess that up on you by placing their papal magnet deep in your territory to sort of encourage a migration of their walkers toward strategically vulnerable points. But if you've got some sort of a heartland that's just filled with castles, you know, that also happens to be the hardest to attack, so it doesn't work out all that badly. Yep. Come on, one more. There you go. I really do miss the computer helps build castle key, which was numpad slash. Just have that over a point, hit slash, and it would go, I think it would go like this. Go up 3, and then down 2, and then back up 1, and that's big enough for a castle right there. Yeah, it's not as convenient to do it with the mouse. Okay. Build a castle there, please. Perfect. All right, and here we've got a little lake of fire. And we're not going to need that for the bad folk to go when they die, so we'll just fill it in. More castle space. Oh, hello, leader. You build a mighty settlement there? No? You're just going to build a... Got a little stone hovel. Well, all right. Yeah. So you can see the leader's got what, axe technology because of all these small settlements trying to get ahead of him to build something reasonably large, but by the time I get something done, well, there, that's crossbow, that's not too bad. I'm usually only able to convert it to a castle after he's already left. All right, so before I get too zen in building settlements here, let's check the frontier. It's our strategy of settle and battle, battle first, then settle, has really pushed the border back almost all the way to the edge here. And we're at the point now where it's a little bit of disturbance could probably end the game. So I'll just set some swamps up in here. And watch it happen. Okay, that's good. In fact, since these are within sight of my settlements, I can probably just knock the enemy loose. Yeah, you fight for that castle. A little bit of swampland there. Get rid of that. But there, enemy population should be almost 0 now, and so I can't do, I think, well, I guess I can do Armageddon if I really want to, but there really isn't any enemy left. It's just this house, I think. Oh, well, hey, get out of there. That's it. All right, so that's a couple of levels of Populous, the original. There's a sequel called, surprisingly, Populous 2. And then there's a third installment called Populous the Beginning, confusingly. But this is the original. This is how it plays. This is a few levels from it. It gets harder from here. It's, you know, limited set of tools, mostly about strategy, mostly about keeping the computer busy and reacting when the computer keeps you busy, and thinking creatively about how you can plan to be ahead of some of the messes that the computer's going to cause. I think I showed you a strategy related to volcanoes, earthquakes, and they're fairly low level. You don't really have to mess with that a whole lot. We talked about dealing with floods. Dealing with knights is hard. I think you really have to just do a really good job with your leader management for that, and make a strong leader who's able to defeat the knight. Or, you know, maybe you can place a swamp in his path. That might work too. Anyway, that's a couple of levels, and if there's sufficient demand, then maybe I'll play a few more levels of this, because I enjoy it. I love a lot of these classic games. A thinner layer between you and the strategy, I find sometimes a lot less visual distraction. But that's my recording for today, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.